Today we're going to learn how to use our levels in combination with a tool called the Lasso Tool. And the purpose of this is to learn how to make adjustments to our image so that we have a proper exposure throughout the entire image. So we will take small sections, we will lasso it, and then we will apply our levels. So the first thing you need to do is open up a practice file. So you're going to go to open up Photoshop, go to File, Open. We are again going to go to our P drive. Okay, so if you're in your documents, you need to locate the P drive, which is going to be on our computer. So if we click over here on Computer and go to Del Mar Digital Photo and open that up and go into Photo Demo Examples, you are going to go to your Levels Practice folder and you're going to open an image called Landscape. Now, this image has very bright skies that are reflecting in the water and very dark landscape areas. So we're going to duplicate this by right-clicking in the gray area. And what we're going to do is we are going to darken the sky and the reflection in the water. And we're going to lighten the land area a little bit, okay? So what you want to do is look at the areas that have the most intense, maybe bright areas, and then some areas that are kind of in the middle and some areas that are a little darker. Because you're never going to select the entire image. You're going to select little sections. So we need to go to our vertical toolbar, and if you come down 3 tools, you can see you have a tool called the Lasso Tool. We want to select that, and it looks like a little lasso. So I'm going to start with this darker area here as well as over here, okay? So I'm going to select the top. I'm left clicking, okay, just to let you know, I'm left clicking and holding down my lasso tool, and I'm going to go all along the top, all along the edge, and come right down here, and then I'm going to release, and you're going to see that my lasso tool selects a portion of the image. I need to come up here to Refine Edge, okay? Refine Edge is along the horizontal toolbar, and I'm going to type in, I'm going to go to Feather, because it brings up my Refine Edge options, and I want to go to Feather, which is right here, and I'm going to type in 250, okay. So look what happens when I do that. When I type in 250, you'll notice that the image over here really just gradually blends until it completely disappears along the edge. That's what we want, because when we go to our levels, image adjustments levels, we're going to want to adjust this section, but more gradually. We don't want to do it drastically. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring my little black triangle to a little bit over to where the mountain starts. I'm going to make sure my gray triangle is right about right here where it really starts. It starts right here and starts to taper up very drastically. So I want my little gray mountain to end or to be placed where the mountain starts to taper up drastically, and I'm going to bring my little black to the very start of this mountain. And I'm just going to leave my white triangle just right here on the right and not do anything. Click OK. So we can just click in this gray area right here to deselect. Look at the difference here. We can see that the sky just got a little bit bright, a little bit darker, a little more details in the sky. Now I'm going to come over here and select this right side. I'm going to come along the edge and come right to where the mountain is going to be starting. I don't want to select that. Come along this edge here and along back to where I started. So we can see our selection. I'm going to go to Refine Edge along the horizontal toolbar. I'm going to type in 250, click OK, and we're going to see that we have our marching ants. I'm going to come up to Image Adjustment Levels, and I'm going to again bring this to kind of where the mountain starts. Now I want to make sure it matches over here as well. As here and here need to match each other, and I'm going to bring this over a little bit just before it starts to really climb this mountain, and click OK. So here's before and after. I'm going to deselect this. Here's the after. Now I'm going to select just this gray area right in here. We've got just kind of like this gray area that's right in here. That's all kind of similar in value tones. I'm going to come up to Refine Edge, and I'm going to feather that 250. We can see that it gradually blends out. I'm going to say OK. I'm going to come up to my image adjustment levels again, and this time I'm going to bring this to where the mountain starts, but not too much. This gray is going to come right about here, and this is going to start just before the mountain. I'm going to stop it just before the mountain. This is the little gray triangle is going to end right where the mountain starts to climb. So I'm going to say OK and deselect, and we can see the before and the after. Now I'm going to select this really bright area right in here where it's really bright. This bright area right in here. Refine Edge, feather 250. OK. And I'm going to come up to Image Adjustments Levels. Again, I'm going to bring this over to where the mountain's about to start. The little gray is going to end right where the mountain is just about to start heading up the peak, to the peak, just right about here. And this is going to stop right before where the mountain just begins to taper up. This is going to start, the little gray triangle is going to end right about here where the mountain just starts to taper up. And I'm going to say OK. And now if I do my before and after, we can see that there's a lot more detail in the sky. We see more blues, we see more grays, we see more whites, and this is what we want our sky to look like. Okay, so now I'm going to select this mountain region area that's not too dark. So I'm just going to select only this mountain region area in the back that's not too dark. And I'm going to go to Refine Edge, click on 250. Okay. Oh, it says warning, no pixels are more than 50% selected. The selection edge will not be visible. All right, so I accidentally selected too small of an area, so I need to make this a little bigger. So I'm going to go ahead and select some of this white cloud above it and the mountain, and let's see if that works. I need to make sure my selection is big enough to be selected and to be feathered. So let's see here. Okay. All right, that did work. So I'm going to come up to my image adjustment levels, and I'm going to darken it a little bit. Now it's all kind of even, so I'm just going to just move these around until I like the way it looks. And I want this area back here to just get a little bit darker. But at the same time, I don't want this area to be too dark on the right. So I'm going to leave it right about there. So go ahead and turn that off. We can see that the details in the back of the mountain here is starting to show up a little more. Okay, so now I'm just going to select all of this reflection. All of this reflection looks kind of even. And I'm going to select the whole selection. I'm going to go to Refine Edge, and I'm going to do a feather of 250. Okay, and I'm going to come up to Image Adjustment Levels, and I'm going to just bring this over a little bit just to darken this reflection a little bit in the water. And that looks pretty good. Okay, so now we can see that we darken this reflection a little bit to match this area here. So now we need to lighten this really dark area in here. So I am just going to select this entire dark region, because it's all about the same in darkness, so it doesn't really matter if I break it up or not. I'm going to go to Refine Edge. I'm going to put a feather of 250. Okay, image adjustments, levels, and this time I want to lighten it, so I'm just going to bring this down a little bit, but I'm not going to bring it all the way to the start of the mountain because it's too light, I feel. So I'm going to bring it, the gray to the about right here where it starts to taper up. And I'm going to bring the white triangle just a little bit before the mountain starts to go up. So this little gray is going to stay about there, and the white is going to stay about there, and the black is not moving at all. So now I have a little more detail in here in this darker landscape area. And if I do the before, you can see that the sky is really bright and the landscape area is really dark. And now we have a little bit of a lighter landscape and a much darker, more intense sky, and that's what we're going for.